Thank you. So we're now getting ready for the keynote speaker, the speaker of the hour, the speaker that we've all been waiting for, the president of the National Bar Association. But before we bring her to the stage, I think it's important that we take a moment to reflect on why we are here. The reason why there is a National Bar Association, because there used to be a time where black folks could not join the American Bar Association, so we had to form our own bar association. There used to be a time where black folks could not be judges, where black folks could not question white witnesses, so we had to form our own organization. We had to get together to find a way to fight for justice, and that trend for justice and equity, it has continued under President Lonita Baker. She has been in the trenches fighting for justice. You see her on television representing the family of Breonna Taylor, but before that, she was still fighting for justice, fighting for civil rights, fighting for equal opportunity. She has been fighting for us, and we should be celebrating the amazing work that she has done. As we listen to her, I want you to just take a moment to reflect on where we come from and where we still have to go. And we are so grateful that we have your leadership to guide us as we navigate the wilderness, as we continue to fight to make this country a better place for everyone. Without further ado, everyone, the incredible, the amazing, the super, Lonita Baker.
To remind me that next time we have a meeting to put me at the beginning. I'm following behind individuals that make it tough to follow up. But also, you guys said everything I was going to say. But it is true. We are here for the 33rd annual Wally A. Branton Symposium. And for the first time in the NBA history, we have partnered with one of our sections and held our symposium concurrently with the Labor and Employment Law section. So to Chair Kevin Reese, I thank you for accepting the invitation to join us, because what was going to happen is the National Bar Association was going to be in Philadelphia in October, 2 separate weeks, and I said that doesn't make sense. We have to unify and we have to come together, and that's what we did, and this is the outcome, which is beautiful as I look out. We are here in honor of Wally A. Branton, a champion for civil rights out of the state of Arkansas, who used his career to fight for equity, to fight for voting rights, to make sure that our communities were represented. He was a dean at Howard Law, where we always, I take the phrase because they said it all the time, so I had to look it up. Charles Hamilton Houston, a lawyer is either a social engineer or a parasite on society. And when you look at the definition of social engineer, you do not have to be civil rights fighting cases like Breonna Taylor or only have the George Floyd. You can be in your own environments and be social engineers. On Wednesday evening before I drove from DC to here, I was at a program held by one of our sponsors, LexisNexis, and the rule of law, and they created a fellowship program for 12 students from the HBC, the 6 HBCU law schools. They give them financial tuition assistance, and at the end of that dinner, they presented them with a journal. All 12 fellows are now published authors, and just think about that. If you were a law student, you had the opportunity to be a published author. And so it's about where you are in your space and creating opportunities. You too can be a social engineer, and so I ask everyone here to be a social engineer. We focus the majority of our symposium on health equity in our communities, maternal health, the biases in healthcare for Black people. And we talked about how important it is that we get out on election day and vote, and that we get out as attorneys and protect other people's right to vote. Woo! We did that because it's not your typical civil rights fight that you think about when you hear about health rights, but health is a human right. Everyone deserves to be treated well when they go for medical care, regardless of their income level or their race. And if it's a human rights, then it is a civil rights, and we have to discuss it and put it at the forefront of our discussions. So without further ado, thank you for joining us. I'm going to go through our protocol. I've seen several past presidents in the room. I see one to our right, past President Dr. Walter Sutton. Also from Arkansas, like Milton, I won't say from because I don't know it from, but Milton, Arkansas, which is where Wally A. Branton was from. Past President Ron Thomas. I didn't see them before I came up here, but past President Kevin Judd, past President Keith Waters, I did see them in the, okay, I see past President Kevin Judd, past President Keith Waters is also, past President Carlos Morris joined us, thank you. Other members of our Board of Governors, Vice President Lamont Bailey, Vice President Sekou Gary, Vice President Ashley Upkins and Vice President Henry Floyd are here. I know they had some work to do, but so I don't know if they've made it yet. Our treasurer, Yuri Walker. Woohoo! That was coming from Region 9 Director to also Deputy Region. So she's the treasurer and Deputy Region 9 Director. Our Secretary Jennifer Fisher Golden, haven't seen her yet. All right, members at large, are there any members? I see hands raised. I see Antonio Lee. And then can the rest of the Board of Governors for the NBA please raise your hand and be recognized? Thank you. I thank you all for the hard work and dedication that you provide to the National Bar Association year in, year out, day in, day out. It's not easy, and I appreciate you walking along this ride with me, riding along this ride with me, whatever, you know. To get here for this symposium, I would be remiss if I did not thank my co-chairs, Terrance Evans, Taisha Malley, Chief of Events Alicia Alker, our Chief of Programming Elise Bailey, who is in South Carolina. Could not be here, but we had some wonderful programs, and she worked with a team. Danielle Pinkston, I know I saw earlier, and Elijah Ford, our Region 3 Director. Thank you for the work that you put in to make sure that our attendees receive one CLE credit. That's very important. It doesn't matter if we get the program if we don't get it, but to put together some very thoughtful panels, insightful panels, and educational panels for the program. Our sponsors, LexisNexis, I mentioned, Geico, Kudak Rock, Duane Morris, hosting us tonight, this great reception. Thank you. And the National Bar Institute as well. And as I close, I have an announcement to make in closing, and I'm going to ask the chair of the National Bar Institute to come join me, as well as the general counsel for Visa to come up and join me, and our chair of the corporate law section and the labor and employment law section to also come up and join me. So, last month, the National Bar Association lost a tremendous member of our family, of the labor and employment law family, of the corporate law section family, and one of my close friends, Christy Matthews. And one thing we wanted to do, the Chair Reese, Chair Turner Hawkins, the General Counsel of Visa, and the NBI supporting us in the effort, is we are establishing a scholarship in honor of Christy Matthews. We thought it fit to announce it here because she was going to be presenting at this conference. If you know Christy, you know she loved and adored she lived, eat, breathe, drink labor and employment law. You asked her a question and she could spout it off without looking it up. And she just knew, and she was always willing to assist. And so her loss is great, but she is still with us, and it is appropriate that we honor her. I believe our goal is to do the first set of awards at the Corporate Law Section Gateway to Success Conference in April, which will also be held concurrently with our NBA mid-year conference. I like to unify our organization. So with our mid-year conference, we will be giving up the first award in April of 2023. The National Bar Institute is working with us to accept donations. I believe the General Counsel of Visa, Julie Ratzenberger, did you want to say a few words in honor?
Sure. Hi, everyone. My name is Julie Rotenberg. I'm the General Counsel of Visa, and I know it's hard to follow such a distinguished speaker, so I will be brief. But I just wanted to thank everyone for letting me join here today. Thank President Baker and Kevin Reese and the distinguished crowd here for really recognizing Christy. Christy was, I think everyone knows, loved working with the National Bar Association. She was passionate. The first day I met her, it was one of the first things she told me about that she was involved in. And it is, I think, a really fitting tribute to recognize her as part of this amazing organization. She was an amazing lawyer, of course, and you all had, many of you worked with Christy for years, well before we had her at Visa. We had her for 2 short years, and she was an amazing attorney. There's not enough I can say about that, but really she was a remarkable friend and colleague. When I talk about Christy, I talk about she was just joy. That's the word that comes to mind. She brought joy to the office. She helped us open our Atlanta office, and she was the life of that office, the soul. So losing her has been devastating, but we are so thrilled that we can at least take a small piece and make sure her memory lives on through all of us, but also with all of you at the National Bar Association and this amazing scholarship that you all have set up. So I am thrilled to support it personally. We are very supportive of it and look forward to continue to work with the National Bar Association in her memory as well. Thank you.
So you will be seeing additional information in the coming days about how you can support the Christy Matthews Scholarship. All right, with that, thank you for coming.